This is Tony Whistler with my good friend, co-host Carla Weiss. Welcome to Drive Facebook Live. We have a very special guest today. We have Tim Larson. He's the Senior Vice President of RescueNet, the digital lifeline, and he is also an exclusive sponsor of Drive Expo 2025. We're absolutely happy to have him on the show today. We're going to talk everything Expo. We're going to talk everything RescueNet. We're going to let everybody out there know exactly what his product is and how he can help your shop keep making money. All righty. Hi, Tim. How's it going?
Doing real well. Doing real well.
Very good. Why don't you let everybody know exactly who you fully are, what your position in the business is, and a little bit about the business itself?
Yeah, basically, we have our company is involved in a lot of different things. We have a television product that we put out, and we've been in internet for quite a long time. A lot of innovations in the internet space and the technology space. And what I do is I basically run our internet and television business. RescueNet is a product that we recently developed because we kept on hearing little stories in different places about people losing their internet. And it seems like at the most inopportune times you lose your internet on in conversations like these video conversations over the years, and more of us are doing them all the time. And you get different things. For a while I was putting up with these problems, even myself, where I had a very reputable company. One of the major cable companies was my provider, and right in the middle of one of these things, I'd be cutting in and out or just completely gone. And so, but businesses are even a bigger deal because you go down during when you're doing business and you're losing money immediately.
Yeah, very
Right.
cool. This is a great service. Also, I want to let everybody know I have not bought the service yet at my home office. I don't have RescueNet. So if for some weird reason I end up disappearing off this call, don't blame Tim because I'm not using his service yet.
And he should be.
I should be. Well, so
So,
anyway,
so tell us, how does it work,
Well,
Tim?
it's really pretty cool because in a day and age now where we're all concerned about security and everything and keeping everything within our own network, security is a real important thing, and so we're big on security. In fact, that's we have a number of different patents having to do with security of internet products. And so security is always a very important thing. Another thing that's really important is just staying up. So what we do, number one, is we stay outside of your network. So our product sits between your internet provider and your router in your company. So what we do is you put your source into our box, and then it comes back out of our box and goes into your router. So we don't touch your internal network whatsoever. And so what happens is when you lose internet connectivity, our box immediately detects that. I mean, within a second and a half, if you watch our box and pull the internet out of it to disconnect everything, you'll see a light go on in less than a second and a half, actually, that'll say, okay, we've already detected that your internet's gone. And within about another second and a half, it flips over to 5G. So we take you from your wireline provider and we change your source from, perhaps it's Xfinity, maybe it's Spectrum, maybe it's Frontier, maybe any of these, wireline AT&T wireline carriers, and we switch it to a 5G tower. So now you don't even lose any connectivity whatsoever. And it's so elegant that you can quite literally have movies running. I've tested it here extensively, and we'll run 2, 3 TVs with movies going at the same time. We're streaming a lot of data through the system at the time, and we'll just pull the internet cord right out of our box, and it immediately switches over, and the screen doesn't even flicker. It makes no audio changes, no video changes. And at a business, you're not worried about streaming video or audio. You're just wanting to keep the data flowing. So there's no data loss whatsoever, and it keeps everything just rolling.
oh, that's wonderful.
That's
So if
a
I'm watching Spinal Tap, the movie Spinal Tap about the heavy metal band, I won't miss any of the content then?
You can turn it up to 11.
Exactly.
Sorry for the
Now
rest of you.
this,
That's a Spinal Tap reference. Sorry.
I love it. I love it.
yeah.
I love
So
it.
this is extremely beneficial for for a business like we have that we coach, where they have all their invoices. Now they have voice over internet, and they have they're sending emails to their customers about their vehicles, text over the internet and stuff like that. And it could be quite catastrophic, and I know that it's been catastrophic for some businesses when the internet goes out because they can't do anything,
Well,
you
you can
know?
start off by, nowadays a lot of phone systems are actually VoIP. They're voice
Right.
over IP. So when your internet provider goes down, you just lost your phone system. So anybody wanting to call you up to make an appointment for tomorrow or the next day or whatever, you're not going to get that call. So that's one thing. Another thing, a lot of folks have shop systems
Right.
that are, for all kinds of different things, for estimations, inventory control, you name it. And a lot of that stuff's in the cloud. So, I mean, think of
Oh,
just all the things
certainly.
that yeah, think of all the stuff you have in the cloud right now. You have documents, you have, the shop system runs in the cloud. Some of them don't, but the better ones seem to. And so all this stuff is up there. All of a sudden, your connectivity to all that is just gone. And so, your ability to do a lot of different things, all your connectivity to your parts providers, a lot of that stuff is direct over that same thing. All that just went down. So you really just kind of lost the lifeblood of your business, and the statistics really start adding up quickly. It's pretty amazing. It's kind of a scary thing when you think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So
definitely is.
what is the likelihood? Like I thought when we talked, you had some real hard numbers on how often a person's internet will go down, which I found did not find surprising because I have an internet. And so, but it is pretty startling.
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting because, all of us have, there are a couple different reasons for it going down. The internet itself will just go down because the way a cable, so for instance, a lot of people have real fast internet from a cable system, and cable systems are built in. I spent decades on the cable side, cable television. Cable systems are built in nodes. So they start
Hmm.
from what they call a head end, and then they go out to different nodes, and then the nodes service neighborhoods. And so you can have, and each of those nodes has a power source. So if you lose a power source where your node is, the internet for that entire node just went down. So you can have any kind of, and so forget about losing power at your business or at your house. If it's lost anywhere back up the line, the internet just went down. So that's why you always see a lot more, statistically, you'll see a lot more internet outages than you will power outages. But those are the two reasons. Either your internet just goes or maybe your power goes. So you're kind of walking a tightrope with both of those. And statistically speaking, US businesses, about 59% of them will lose network connectivity this month, at least once. And
What's that
51%,
number
yeah.
again? Tell me that
five
number again.
59% of US
59.
businesses will lose network
I believe
connectivity
it.
this month at least one time. So 46% of those, they'll actually have between 1 and 3, and 13% of those actually have weekly issues with their internet.
Mm,
So
yeah.
Wow.
it varies everywhere. It all depends on who your provider is. It all depends on whether they're going through a rebuild right now, because every so many years they have to rebuild. The
Hmm.
fiber world has changed that a little bit. When we were all coax back in the day, if you were in a colder climate, you would get what they call suckouts, and up at the line there was a box that your cable went into. When it got really cold, it would actually pull that right out of the connection. So they would suck that out of there. So fiber's changed that a little bit. But there is sometimes they're doing just fiber to the node, and then after the node, they're sending coax to your house. And some outfits will get you fiber right inside your walls. So everything's a little bit different, but either way, those numbers are staggering. And so
Yeah.
yeah, so you kind of think everything's really great until it's not, right? And then once it goes down, then a lot of things, and I'm sure that a lot of people listening can think of all the other things that they have that they would lose connectivity with, but you don't really think about that until it's gone.
Right. You want, it's like you don't
It's
miss the
true.
water till the well runs dry.
Yeah, and it's even, and the power thing gets to be a little bit funny too, because I mean, how many of us have, after the power's gone out at your house, you walk into a room and you flip the switch on and you go, oh, wow, and power's out. But you could get so used to having everything there to the point where you're walking around in a dark house, or maybe it's during the day and the power's out. You go to flip a switch and the lights don't come on. It's like, of course, that we get so ingrained to having the service that we don't bother thinking about what you lose when you don't have it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have a universal power supply along with your system as well, right? So you're going to handle any blackouts or any electrical outages as well, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing, and it takes about 45 seconds to set this whole thing up. If you actually read the instructions, of course, that's a completely different story, right? It might take you.
Are you kidding me? Read the
Yeah,
instructions. You only
yeah,
read instructions if nothing else works. Remember
That's
that.
right. You
yeah.
got to try everything else first, then read the instructions.
Exactly.
That's it. And if all else fails, just take a hammer to it. So
Hey, do not advise that.
well, there's all that. But what's really nice is it's very simple to set up. You basically are going to plug your current router into uh, our power system, and then you're gonna plug our box into the power system too. So it's a UPS like you would have for your computer, except a lot of UPSs for your computer just give you enough power to maybe safely shut your computer down. And
Like 15 minutes, like
yeah,
20 minutes or something
well, our
at the
UPS is with. I mean, I've tested this and did this all myself. This UPS will keep your router and our box up and running for over 6 hours.
nice.
So this gives you time. The average outage is somewhere between 1 and 5 hours anyway. So what we originally thought was, this would be great for restaurants and for other businesses, for big box stores, whatever, where you want to give yourself about an hour to go ahead and empty the place out and collect everybody's money because they want to buy something. That's why they're there, and that's why
That's
you're
right.
there collecting their money, right? So give everybody an hour to go ahead and empty the business out, take care of transactions and that kind of thing. But what if the whole outage goes longer than that? And also, what we wanted to do is we wanted to back up your router because all of your computers, all of your shop systems, everything that you have connected into your network, right, is going to be on your network. So you need your router working. And so it's important that we keep your router. And a lot of times you think about running a UPS for a computer or for a server and all that kind of stuff. That's all natural. But
Mhm.
how many people are running UPSs on their router? And so the
Right.
whole idea here was to provide a very elegant, very seamless solution so that we keep your network up for 6 hours. We keep our network up for 6 hours. And let's face it, if you have an outage that's going to last longer than 6 hours, you're going to need a generator anyway. So you're going to have a generator
Mhm.
system to power your tool systems and a lot of other things that you have. But what we wanted to do is make it so that immediately what it does is it detects that it keeps them both powered up, and it does exactly what I mentioned before. It immediately detects your source is out, and now we're switching you to a 5G source instead, and your entire network stays intact. So when everything, let's say you have an outage, your computer, your point of sale system, those computers are looking at a specific network. You don't want to be having to switch to a different network. What a pain.
Right.
And
Yeah.
all the guys that are on the shop system on those, they all need to be looking at the same network they were looking at before too. So we're not going to change that. We're outside of your network, and we're just switching your source from these guys to those guys, and that's all we're doing. And we're keeping that up and moving and keeping your environment intact.
Yeah. One of the most beautiful things about this concept that I really like is the idea that I know people that could possibly, now I know people that are in the IT side of the industry that are more savvy, that can be a little more savvy on this stuff, that they might have a redundant network somewhere. But what you describe, if you've got a system that's large, you got like two or three machines on the front that you have for service advisors. You've got the owner has a machine in the back that he's using to do stuff. You've got three machines in the actual work area that the techs are using to look at their DVI system, or they've got their tablets, or they've got all of these. There's a lot of computers on the network. So something happens, you go, okay, we're going to move over to our redundant network, and then everyone's got to go around and move the individual machines over to the new network. What a pain!
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can see where that could be a real problem.
So
Yeah. I mean,
somebody's asking, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, somebody's asking if you can keep the system hooked up to your system at all times.
Yeah,
That
what you do is you set this whole thing up in your closet where you're probably where you have, or maybe under the desk or wherever you have your router sitting. You set our box right next to your box, and you set the UPS is actually quite small. I mean, a lot of these UPSs are massive, and they're heavy. Okay, this
mhm.
the UPS that we have. In fact, I got one right here. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. I'll slide around here.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah.
You
So
have an invisible
so
chair. That's a nice visible chair you have there.
yeah, you
Yeah.
like that? It's a special thing. I paid extra for that. So so this is the it's going to be funny with all this, but this is the UPS. So it's really not a very large box at all.
Oh, that's great.
It's very tiny, and it's pretty light. We have a lithium iron phosphate batteries in here, and so lithium iron phosphate batteries are kind of some of the newer nerdier batteries that are out there, and so they actually last longer, and they keep the level of their power the entire way through the discharge for the entire 6 hours. It may drop 2 or 3%, and it'll keep going for the entire 6 hours. And there's an internal controller that will automatically shut it off when it reaches a certain voltage level. And so it keeps full power for that entire period of time. And it's
So it doesn't degrade slowly as it's draining.
no, lead
That's
acid
beautiful.
batteries will have a continuous lowering arc, whereas lithium iron phosphate go from 100% down to about 97% and then go all the way across at that same level until an immediate cutoff. They last way longer, and they go for 3,000 cycles. So we're not sending out just a piece of junk that's going to get you through. And after so many months that, that battery is going to start degrading, and it's because it's sitting on a charge. No, this is all designed to be sitting there. The original question was, can we hook this up to, I believe if you could, I don't want to make sure
it's because it's
you can run alongside
can you
there.
keep the system hooked up to your
Yeah.
system at all times?
Yeah, you hook it up. So you put it right next to your existing router. You pull your cable from your internet provider out of your router and you put it into our box. And then we send you another cable that you go out of our box into your router. And then you plug both your router and our box into this UPS. And so
Beautiful.
you leave it in the closet or you leave it under the desk and you walk away. You close the cabinet, you close the closet door, and you're done. And you don't even have to worry about replacing the UPS. Probably in about 10 years or so,
Right.
we'll get you another UPS, because that's unlike these the regular ones that you have. Basically after about a year or so, maybe a year and a half, you have to open those things up and swap out the batteries because they're no good anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
These are designed completely different, a much higher level of performance on these, and so it really functions well.
That's
Interesting.
beautiful. So the
Now,
sooner
one
you can forget
question.
about it, the better, is what you're saying. You just have
Yeah,
to never
yeah,
worry.
you set it and you forget it, and you go back to worrying about running your business instead of playing with your IT equipment, right? So
Exactly.
it's about keeping all the guys in the shop working too. You want to keep everybody up and running, and you
Right.
don't want to have to train people on IT issues. So, in fact, any of the guys that are, anybody that's in the store, anybody that's in the shop can open the box and hook this thing up. Like I said, read the instructions. It takes you 2 minutes.
Nice.
That's the full length of time that it takes to set it up. So it's pretty simple, and anybody that's there can do it.
Very cool. Carla, you were going to add something?
Yeah, one question coming up. You mentioned that it switches your computer to a 5G, right? So how common 5G is it? Is it pretty available now, or is it you know some areas won't be able to get it, that kind of stuff?
Well, we've heard from all the providers in all their commercials about how wonderful they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They're-
I saw Billy Bob Thornton talking about it.
there you go. He said he's everywhere, right? Didn't he say that he was everywhere? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or so he said something like that, at least. So anyway, There's going to be some kind of, if you have a shop someplace, you're going to likely be within distance of a 5G tower. Now, in some places, it will actually still be 4G. So this does the same thing. And what it does is it doesn't switch your computer. Your computer is looking at your router, and your router is looking at an internet source. Okay. So what we do is we switch that down internet source over to 5G. That's what we switch. So we don't mess with your network. We don't touch your computers. We just make it so that, and our machine is responsible for doing that. So our machine detects when your internet went down, and before you even know that it happened, frankly, before you know that it happened at all, it's already on to 5G. And then what's really elegant is that when your internet provider comes back up again, you don't have to go around and hit buttons or do anything else. You just leave it alone, and it'll automatically switch you right back to your wireline provider once again.
Cool.
Awesome.
Very nice. Hey, let's take a little commercial break. I definitely want to let everybody know that Friday, September 12th, we're going to have Dustin Goff and Larry Goff of Ace Auto Doctor on the show. Again, don't miss that show. That'll be great. And we have to say, if you're not coming to the expo, you should come. So that'll be Thursday, September 18th through the 20th. And we'd love to have you there. You can actually meet Tim in person. And that's the whole commercial break. And that takes us right into what I was hoping we'd get to a little bit, which is Tim's going to be at the expo.
That's right.
That'll be great. So how much of a footprint are you going to have like in our space? Or like what are you bringing to show us? What kind of you're going to have a tent with some juggling acts and stuff? What's
Yes,
going to be there?
we'll be bringing the clowns and the dancing girls, and so you'll want to make sure that you.
What about the elephant?
Yeah, get the elephant.
Well,
Yeah.
the elephants were going. I think that's what killed the circus. Everybody
Yeah,
going against all that stuff. So we decided to leave the elephants back in Florida,
very nice.
and with the rest of the circus. So in fact, they're probably about 30 miles south of me here in Sarasota. So they'll be staying here. But seriously, what we'll do is we're going to have kind of a little setup. It's really pretty simple, but we're going to actually have this whole thing set up so that you can watch it fail over right at the show. So it'll be kind of interesting, and it's very simple. The whole thing that makes this so elegant is that there's not a lot to it. It's not real complicated. All the technology and everything is complicated back underneath it, and the ability to kind of keep an eye on all these different signals and switch them one direction and then switch them back takes some work. And then what we also did was we took the time to make sure that we can keep you up and running for an adequate period of time where it's not just, oh, well, let's just check a box, and then you find out that you didn't really check a good enough box there. So no, that's not what we're doing. We're actually providing a really good service here that's going to keep you up and running properly, and you'll be able to stop by and see us there, and we'll have all that kind of sitting right there, and you'll be able to watch it fail over in person.
Well, I feel like that's
Tony, you know that he's also going to have a presentation, and it's going to
exactly right.
Always Stay Connected.
And that'll be Friday, September 19th at 1:30 local time. So
Vegas time.
Yeah.
And today's cloud-driven world, losing connectivity will cost you thousands. Here, how you can keep the revenue flowing, and that's what everybody wants, for sure.
Yep. So look for it when you get there. It's going to be, you'll see it'll be Always Stay Connected with Tim Larson. You'll be able to find it on our boards. The other thing I wanted to say is you were saying that when you're in the actual space, you're going to show how the network can go down and how your system works. I thought, well, that should be pretty easy because you're going to be on hotel Wi-Fi. So that should be a pretty easy thing to
Well,
do.
Actually, we're having to kind of nerd our way through figuring out how we're going to bring in an actual source that is not already going through one of their routers. So we're probably going to bring in, well, you'll probably have to see it when I get there.
Okay, awesome.
We're still kind of working our way through getting just a clean source that's not going through something. But, you brought up something about, losing a lot of money. And what's interesting is that a large business will lose about $5,600 a minute by going down.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these are small businesses. So you have to kind of get more realistic with that. So the actual going through and looking at statistics, it actually works out to be between about $137 a minute and up to about $427 a minute. So if you take it at the lowest end of that, and if you stop and you think, it's at first you think, but that sounds a little bit high, but really it doesn't. If you think about what your hourly rate is in this business, what your hourly rate is times the number of technicians you got out in the shop and the people that you have running the shop up front and everything else going on, and you start backing yourself into that, it can get expensive real fast. And so
Yeah.
this is a very affordable product. We're going to have special pricing at the show, and so it's going to be pretty much of a no-brainer type of a situation where it's like this is really so inexpensive that just going down for a couple minutes, 30 minutes at the $137 figure, a 30-minute outage is going to cost you over $4,000.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
that's rough.
Right.
And let's say that these numbers are still out of whack. What if it cost you half of that?
Still bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So,
I've had shops that, they lose all their morning, or they're trying to find a piece of paper because, well, they don't have paper around, and now they're
anyway,
having to write,
Well, yeah. Well,
an
not if
invoice and figure out. And it's like everything they do, they order their parts, they do everything through the internet, and they're stuck.
exactly,
They're
exactly. And
completely
let's say you
stuck.
went down for 30 minutes.
Mm.
How much of the rest of your day is taken up trying to catch back up after all that happens? Are people having to stay late in order to get caught up? I mean, think of and not only that, but think what you've missed during that period of time. How many of those people that were calling for break jobs and things that you have good margin in that you missed out on during that period of time because you were down? They're calling somebody else and going across town instead. So that's lost revenue right there.
yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
totally. Well, I
So
think
it's
we
good.
should
And
thank some of the people that are watching.
yeah,
Don't you
go
think
ahead.
so?
Go for it, Carla.
We have all right, so I kind of Dustin is watching. Hi, Dustin, Brittany. Then we had your partner, Rich Kane, was watching you, making sure you're doing your job. And we had Adam Jadowitz. Hi, Adam, and Debbie Jennerjohn. That's some of the people. There
That's
we go.
great. Hey, and there was one other point I wanted to make because we talked about this a little bit, but really, a lot of shops are starting to go fully paperless. And that's what I thought of when Carla was saying you don't even have, or you were saying I don't even have a paper to write on, you
Yeah.
know? But it's like if you've got a shop that you've totally grooved in to be paperless, then this is absolutely vital. You cannot live without it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because most everything that you have is either in the cloud already or it's backed up to the cloud. So you definitely want to stay connected. And plus, how are you talking to all your parts suppliers and everything? So there's a lot of catching up to do if this stuff goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, looks
Hey, I
like we've
miss Jimmy Holman. Hi,
Jimmy Holman.
Jimmy.
We'll never forget Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. So it looks like we're at the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for being here, watching. Tim, do you have anything you want to add as a final exit?
No, you can actually go to rescuenet.tech, rescuenet.tech, and take a look. Drop us we have a form in there where you can go ahead and if you're interested in getting it, go ahead, let us know. We'll get you all set up. We'll even give you the show price if you want to order it before the show, or if you're not going to the show, feel free to go there, connect with us. We'll get you set up with the show price and get you up and running.
Say
Mention
that website
Drive.
one more time. Say that. Oh,
You
mention
mentioned
Drive, and we get a
Drive.
little. And what happens if they mention Drive, Carla?
Well,
Do they-
so he knows that they're connected with us, right?
Nice. Okay.
There you
So,
go.
so mention that website one more time.
Yes, it is rescuenet.tech, TECH.
And
Awesome.
and Carolyn has posted in the chat, so you should be able to see his email and the link.
Beautiful. Okay, great. Thank you guys for being on the show. Thanks again, Carla, for being my partner. And we will see you guys next Friday. And then I also want to mention one more thing before we go. Next Friday is going to be the last broadcast of Drive Facebook Live before we broadcast live at the expo.
Oh yeah, we're
So
gonna do
so
live
that
one.
we're going to do a live one at the expo, which is going to be exciting. And okay, that's all I've got. Thanks, guys, for being with us, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Bye.
See you, team.
See you.